All right. Hey, Internet. It is I, Udo ADHD. I'm finally talking about my experience with PHP Agency. PHP Agency is a network marketing, life insurance, sales agency company founded by Patrick Bet David. I'm sharing my story because I was a marketing director. Marketing director is the level that you're sold on. Marketing director is the goal. When you first join PHP, your goal is to hit marketing director. There's not, I actually don't know any marketing director or hire who has an honest video or account of what the experience is like in PHP. I know that some of you watching may have worked with me in the past. So I'm not going to say any names, but you'll know exactly who I'm talking about. Some of you are just Patrick B. David fans. Some of you are thinking about joining PHP. Some of you are in PHP and you're in the sauce. Some of you are marketing directors or up, and you're not going to leave a comment under my video because you know everything I'm saying is true, and it's just better to ignore things than to go full on Barbara Streisand effect. If you don't know what that means, look it up. I am aware that when you're talking about anything that has a cult like following, any critique can trigger. If I at any point trigger you, threaten your worldview, whatever, I encourage you to quote what I said and give me from your experience the correction. From your experience. Don't tell me what your MD told you. Don't tell me what Matt Sapala said or what PBD said. Don't tell me what you watched from Ed Milet. Correct me from your personal experience. Because I want to hear your experience. That's my disclaimer. What did Beyonce say? Don't tell me what you're gonna do. Don't tell me what did Beyonce say? If you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. Okay, a brief history of this industry, just so you know. First of all, Patrick B. David. Let's Google him real quick. Okay, Patrick B. David. Okay, this guy. I actually was a fan of his. Past tense, because he's now he's low-key a grifter now. He didn't used to be. He didn't used to be a grifter. And I really valued his thoughts, his input. I've met him a few times. And I just thought he was an incredible speaker and had incredible perspectives about so many things. And I loved how he would talk about things that every other motivational speaker talks about, and he would just kind of come at it from a slightly different angle, and I really appreciated it. And I loved him for that. And now he's kind of like a right-wing shill. He's trying to get on somebody's staff. Like, he's trying to be chief of staff for some Republican. And, you know, Republicans are... I'm not trying to talk about politics. I'm just saying this is what he's doing, okay? Republicans are funneling a lot of money into their online creators, okay? There's a reason this man is now a regular on Fox News, okay? Okay, this man is incredibly ambitious. You will see him somewhere that actually affects you one day. All right, so you need to know that Patrick B. David quit the business. He quit Look at it. Look at this early days. The early days. This is what he looked like when he quit the business. Let me explain. So, this whole industry of selling life insurance as a network marketing model, it started with Primerica. I am not going to go into super detail about the mission statements and practices of each of these companies because if I do, I swear to God, it will be a full hour and I haven't even gotten to any part of my story or perspective. But anyway, just know it started with Primerica. I think their agents are unethical. They preach buy term invested difference and they try to sell you unlicensed people are trying to sell you on investing your money in a stock or EFT that earns 9% every year and that is complete crap. That's completely unethical and that's all I'm going to say about that. And if you're with Primerica and you disagree, go ahead and correct me in the comments. I would love to see it. If you don't know, I'm also, okay. There are so many things. Okay, there is just so much background knowledge that I'm going to refrain from diving too deep into because you this is not supposed to be business class 101 or whatever, okay? So anyway, starts with Primerica, turns into WFG. Patrick Bet-David was in WFG. He had an idol. His idol was Ed Milet. You may have heard of him. He's another guy. He's a motivational speaker. Okay, Ed Milet. And Patrick Bet-David went to Ed Milet and said, hey, I don't like what's going on here. I don't like how we do things. What things exactly are we talking about? I don't know. Ask Patrick Bet-David. Ask him. He'll never tell you. He'll never tell you because it's very much like what I'm about to tell you. It's things that you're not supposed to know. It's things that if Patrick Bet-David left a comment under a WFG video and said, I used to be a VP of this company and the way they do things isn't right, there would be a myriad of people saying, oh, you're a loser who couldn't make it. That's why you don't like the company. Okay. What you're about to do, if any of you are about to do that to me under my comment, just know you would have done it to him too because he quit, because he didn't like how things were being done. I guarantee it has to do with the personal beef. Anyway, he copies and pastes WFG content to PHP, literally copy paste. He just makes it red, white, and blue to match the PHP logo. Okay. He brings over some WFG people. He brings over some people who legally cannot get their insurance license for reasons. Brings them over, promises them a good deal, like we'll license your wife, we'll get it going. You'll still get all the recognition, even though the money is coming through your wife. Anyways, he creates PHP. My board counsel, like my boss, joins him, like comes over with him. My boss used to be in WFG. He comes over with him. And my boss has beef with PBD. And I thought the environment is very toxic. First of all, I will say I joined PHP because I like the business model. I like the idea of ordinary people teaching other people about all the benefits that come with life insurance, including benefits that come while you're still alive and talking about money and generational wealth and all of this stuff. And I envisioned doing free seminars, running my business online, creating a sales funnel, creating an email list, doing seminars for free at the library. It's all this stuff. I envisioned so much. I envisioned working with lawyers to help people with estate planning, because if you are really key, you will have a trust and put your life insurance policy in your trust. Oh, estate planning is so juicy. And I thought I would be able to like do something with that. It didn't happen, and it can't happen in PHP. It can't happen. I have tried. Others have tried. It doesn't happen in PHP. We'll talk about that later. This is part one, by the way, in case I didn't say that, because there's just so much stuff to cover. There's just so much stuff on my mind. And I wish this was like an interview, because I work better that way. Like, what questions do you actually have? Like, whatever. You know, I'm just telling my story. I don't know how many people will see this or who will see this. I'm just putting it out there finally. It took me this long to share my story because, and mind you, this is my story, right? So if you send this to whoever is trying to recruit you, they will tell you, well, that's just her experience, right? I think my experience is valuable for you to know, because they're not going to tell you these things up front. They're not going to tell you these things. They will never tell you these things. You have to hit marketing director or sleep with one. Or hook up with a VP in order to get this tea, okay? And I don't even know how much of the tea I will share, because it's like, how do you tell somebody about a culture? How do you tell somebody about a mindset, an expectation, a feeling? How do you tell that? How do you say that? Right? And then if my video hits the wrong demographic, it's going to be a myriad of people trying to discredit what I'm saying, because they feel like I'm attacking their idol. In fact, that's the first thing this one little boy says. I call him a little boy. This boy is 20 years old. PHP attracts young men. It does. We can talk about why, maybe in part 2. It attracts young men. And listen to what this boy says.
For being a somewhat Christian organization, they really love to make idols.
Oops, I made that like too fast. Hold on, let me reduce the speed. So he said, for being a Christian organization, they really like to make idols.
Patrick is like a deity. He's deified in PHP.
Right, and he's not lying. It's not like, look, we're not talking about Mormon level, you know, we're talking about like MAGA level, right? The way MAGA deifies Trump. I call him the fat orange. That man is loco, which is fun when it's on reality TV. Time and place. James, time and place. I make a lot of YouTube references because I'm a YouTuber at heart, okay? If you didn't get it, you didn't get it. But yeah, they do that to Patrick. And Patrick teaches his board council members, okay? It's a pyramid, right? Okay, Patrick's at the top. And then the next people in line, these are the board council members. He teaches them how to get all of their people to deitize, idolize them, okay? And then the board council members teach the VPs how to do the same. And then the VPs teach us MDs how to begin to build a cult-like following. So, oof. Shall I start there? Shall I start with explaining how this happens? I don't know where to start, you guys. I don't know where to start. Let me just start talking. And then if I repeat myself in part 2 or repeat myself somewhere in this video, it's whatever. This is a stream of consciousness. We're cool. We're vibing. If you are vibing with me, make sure you subscribe, because like, why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you? So there's something called edification, okay? When you first join, if you've been to an event, you will have seen it in action. Hey, I want you to meet so-and-so. I mean, they're one of the top directors in our office. Everybody looks up to them. They made a record-breaking $10,000 last month for the first time. So we're all really proud of them. They're going to take good care of you. Okay, this is called edification. You are edifying the people in your office. Um, it didn't occur to me that that can be categorized as love bombing. That did not occur to me. Okay, until somebody told me that they felt like it was a love bomb, and I was like, oh, I can see that. Um, and some people take it that way. Like some people take it like, oh my gosh, all these people love it. They really like each other. We don't. Oh, oh no. It's very Game of Thrones. It's very Game of Thrones in the office. It's very Game of Thrones in the pyramid. In the entire pyramid. Game of Thrones. I am new. I am watching season 1 for the first time. Okay? I was not watching Game of Thrones with y'all in the 2010s or whatever. But I'm watching it now, okay? I'm almost done with season 1. Games are played. Betrayals are done. Lies are had. Promises made. All of that is in PHP. And I will admit that for a time, that was exciting to me. It was very exciting. I am somebody who I love a fight. I love fighting for something. I will die for you. You know, I love intensity. I love passion. I love, like, I'm so into that. You're probably wondering, why am I just not watching Game of Thrones? I'm sorry. I could not get past the grape scenes. I couldn't get past that. I turned it off, okay? This time I fast forwarded through them. Anyway, back on topic. I was just so into that. So I was enjoying that aspect. A lot of people don't enjoy that aspect, okay? So right off the bat, if you know that's you, this is not the place for you, okay? So yeah, we're edifying each other. We don't actually like each other, and some of us don't respect each other. But we're doing that because what that does psychologically is it makes the new person we're trying to recruit feel like they're in really good hands. Feel like they're in the competent. If the truth were told in these offices, then they would have told me, hey, Udo, you're actually in the worst board counsel's office there is in the entire company. You should probably join PHP with somebody else. Okay, they're not going to tell you that. Okay, they're going to tell you that you're talking to the top blah, 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 and he won blah, 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 blah. Okay, and so the idolization comes because you are there are certain people you must constantly edify. Okay, you should edify your MD. So as an MD, I mean, yeah, it's really cool, right? Like as an MD, people are constantly like giving you praises. There's some people who live for that. I'm one of those people who I don't like being the center of attention, and I don't like too much praise, because it's like, yeah, I sure am something. Okay, it makes me uncomfortable, but there are people who, they live for it, and they literally will chew you out if you don't do it. And they can get away with chewing you out because this is the company culture. This is what you're supposed to do. It's in the handbook. There's a handbook. And edification is in the handbook. Edify your upline. I don't care if you two are fighting. Edify them. Okay? So this is part of the culture, and it goes all the way up. Okay? The higher up you go, the more edification you get. Okay? Part of the edification is distancing people from people. Okay, so I don't know if I already mentioned this. I've met Patrick Bet-David on several occasions, had conversations with him, spoke about my business, yada, yada, yada. At that time, I did not know that was unusual. Okay, like, I did not know it's unusual to twice a year take selfies with Patrick Bet-David. Okay, that was not where, and it's because I was doing the business. I was listening to everything I was told. I was a good little girl, just like I was in school, a little overachiever, and I have to get all straight A's, and I have to be in the honors class. I did that in PHP, and I was in Dallas, and Patrick lived in Dallas, and the headquarters was in Dallas. So I went to the headquarters often. I hung out with people who worked at the head. I didn't like it. Didn't like click in my mind that everyone else in the country don't have the luxury of having that. Like they don't have the luxury of, if you win this office contest, you hang out, you get to have lunch with Patrick and David. No, like other offices didn't get that. And that is why the office I was a part of, that's so pitiful. We had access to Patrick but David himself, and we still sucked. That's bad. Anyway, and if you're mad about it, cry about it. I wish you would. I dare you to correct me. We were the worst office. That board council, you know who I'm talking about. Ah, that's a whole. Ooh, that's gonna be in part 3. Ooh. Anyway. So anyway, the higher up you are, the more distance we put from you. So for example, so before I was a marketing director, I had a marketing director above me, and whenever somebody new would come, it's very, oh no, you can't talk to the MD. You have to talk to me first. He's just very busy. You know, he's an MD. You know, we don't want to waste his time. People are bringing him coffee in the morning. We're doing these things to really edify that person, to make their status seem so high. So we're doing that just for an MD. I hit MD. People were doing that for me. So it's even more. You get what I'm saying? So it's even more for the board council. Oh my God. The board council said your name. Oh, that's a big deal. Okay. Even more for Patrick but David. I remember, I had recruited somebody who used to work at WFG. And I don't know, Patrick doesn't do this anymore, but he used to do monthly update videos. And he would read off names, you know, and every now and then he would read off my husband and I's name. And the recruiter was like, Udo, Patrick but David knows you. He said your name. The fact that he even knows your name. I'm like, what's the big deal? Do you know that what a big deal that would be in WFG? Like, oh my God. Like, okay. And I'm sure to people in PHP, like it was like that. And now Patrick has elevated himself. This is happening. This is back when it was just Valuetainment. This is barely, the podcast was just in the brain. He was trying to find the Adam and all these people. Tom Ellis was just hanging out with his family at home, like not working, like chilling, like call me as needed. Okay, like I'm sure now it's more ridiculous because he's on Fox News and he has this big podcast and he's interviewed. Did he interview Donald Trump? He interviewed Andrew Tate. Do you see what I'm saying? This man is a right-wing shill now. Interviewed Andrew Tate. He's with Candace Owens. He's with, who's that potato head? Not Tucker Carlson. I don't think Patrick will ever talk to Tucker Carlson. Actually, let me check. Okay, my bad. Tucker Carlson had Patrick but David come to him. My bad. But anyway, he's like more of a celebrity now than he even was back then. So when this kid says that Patrick but David is a deity, the deity level he was when I was in, I can only imagine is exponentially more. Wow. Wow, this man, people, especially if you're in WFG, they say PHP stands for People Helping Patrick. And yeah, PHP is how Patrick broke into 100 millionaire, and now he's being, I don't know what he's worth now, but he's not 100 millionaire. He's not even in this bracket if it's not for PHP. It is People Helping Patrick, and it's not just helping Patrick's pockets, but it's helping Patrick's reputation, his stardom. Patrick Bet-David has always dreamed of being like Arnold Schwarzenegger. I don't know if he talks about this anymore, but he used to talk about how he wanted to be a body lifter. He wanted to be Arnold. He wanted to be Arnold. Arnold, big guy, winning Mr. Olympia. Now like a movie star in the movies. Now governor, he was a governor of a state. He idolized Arnold Schwarzenegger. He really wanted to be like that guy. And this was his path. This was his path. This was his way. So we were helping Patrick. People helping Patrick literally achieve all of his dreams. His dreams are coming true before our eyes. Okay, I had to move locations. But oops. But yeah, that's the edification. That is, they treat him like a deity thing. It is a part of the company. It's part of the culture. It's not only is it in the handbook, but it's reinforced every step of the way. If you don't do it, like you are shunned if you don't do it, okay? Or if you do it inadequately. And this is just part of the culture. This is not weird to them. They don't see it as a manipulation tactic. At first, I didn't see it as a manipulation tactic because I thought, well, yeah, why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you edify? But then, like, the longer you're in, the more you see what edification really is. Like, we have people, like, literally kissing ass, like, buying. I bought the board counsel's wife a silver necklace because, just to thank her for all the hard work that she does for us. And then they post it on their Instagrams, like, oh, look what I got her. And then she'll post it, oh, look what my trainee got me. She's going to be a star. Like, oh, the edification game is crazy. And it really gets to certain people's heads. It is sick how it gets to some people's heads. Oh my God. Okay, so in this interview, the boy is oh my God, my cat. She's so clingy. Okay, she, like, has to be with me. Like, there's always, like, it hits a certain hour and she has to have me hold her for at least 5 minutes, sir. Yeah? Is it good? Baby. Okay, good girl. Go. Okay, so in this interview, they're talking about how did this boy get recruited. I do want to say also, you will see a lot of young men. Young men are attracted to this. I think this environment, the PHP environment, so the different companies have different cultures, right? WFG has a very professional, mature culture. PHP has a young, vibrant, energetic football team. Yeah, let's go type of culture. And that's very attractive to young men. But there are all kinds of people in PHP. There's a lot of Latino. I think, is PHP like 50% Latino? I don't remember. It's either between 30 and 50%. I don't know. It's a large percentage. There's a lot of them. And I think that's how Patrick started getting involved with Republicanism, because a lot of Latinos are Republican. And a lot of Latinos that would join something like this, they're Republican, okay? A lot of them are MAGA. And I think because Patrick didn't used to be he was not on that train. He I could tell he was Republican. He was not on that train. That's for part 3. But anyway, so there's different types of people who join. Okay, this is not just something for dudes who just graduated and have no money. Uh, Very respectable people join. A lot of women. I think most people who earn like a living from this, like you earn enough to pay bills. I think most of them are women. Most of them are women. A lot of them have kids. There's a lot of professionals, lawyers, business owners, doctors. There's all kinds of people. Oh my God, I spilled my water. There's all kinds of people in this company. So even though, like, if you're looking for PHP stories and you just see a lot of guys or like young people in general, just know that that's not all PHP is, but it is very attractive for that demographic. Oh yeah, so they're talking about how this boy got recruited. Do y'all want to hear how I got recruited? It's just so basic. Like, I had a friend who, like-minded, we're interested in wealth building. They said that they feel like they found a business that will really work for them. I wanted to hear about it. It sounded great. It sounded like it would be so like helpful for the community. I envisioned a business. The business I envisioned for myself is not the reality, because after you sign up, and the boy is talking about the details of like what the recruiting interview was like, the type of questions they ask. Y'all can hear about that from other people. We're beyond that. The business I envisioned for myself when I joined PHP is not the reality. Right away, you are put on a conveyor belt. You're put on a system, and you're told if you don't follow the system, you won't succeed. So I followed the system because I am a good straight A student. I followed that system. And I thought eventually I'll be able to run my business the way I envision. And they told me eventually you'll be able to run your business the way you envision. I hit marketing director. Before I hit marketing director, I am trying to incorporate my vision into my business. My board council discourages me. My board council makes fun of me and anyone else who's doing what I'm doing. Make fun of me from stage. There's a lot of shame tactics that happen here. The one that appalls me the most is MD sleeps with an associate. Okay. And instead of shaming the MD, who's the superior in the situation, you shame the associate. How disgusting. Oh, I am not going to get started on the misogyny. I won't. I'm not going to talk about the misogyny because I don't know about that for company wide. I know about that for my specific hierarchy. Okay? So I can talk about that another time, but my hierarchy had a lot of misogyny. And this is all before. This was what, how when you experience something, it feels wrong, but you don't know what to call it, right? Like if you've experienced something traumatic as a child, you know it's wrong, but you don't know what it's called, so you don't talk about it. Okay? Like that was me. That was me. There was a lot of things I thought was wrong, but I didn't know there was a name for it. I didn't know it's something to talk about. Okay? There's a lot of this. So when people ask, why would you stay in it so long? That's another reason why people stay in a toxic place for so long, because they don't have the words. You know how they say, like, your vocabulary is linked to your intelligence, right? Like, your ability to describe and explain what's in your mind. It's like a perpetuating thing, right? You need to have the thought in your mind. And you need the words to express the thought, but you need the words to have the thought. You know what I'm saying? If you don't have the words to express this very abstract thing in your mind, does it really exist? You don't know how to talk about it. You don't even know how to have an inner dialogue with yourself about it. So why are you leaving? Someone will ask you, why are you leaving? You would say, I don't know. It just feels weird. Right? Like, and if you have a dream, if you have a goal and you think that this company can take you there because they're telling you this company can take you there, a weird feeling is not a good enough reason to quit. That's not a good enough reason to quit.
Of, okay, maybe they have a family
Okay.
to this age, or maybe they might have their...
This boy is talking about the conveyor belt that I referred to. So the conveyor belt, this system that they put you on. Oh my God, this part is so boring, but I do think I need to talk about it. So when you join, you make a top 25. This is the top 25 people that you know that you are going to tell that you're in business with. You are going to do practice appointments with them. You're bringing a licensed agent with you to these appointments. The licensed agent can make a sale. The better relationship you have with the people on your list, the more likely the licensed agent will be able to make a sale. The licensed agent will get paid. You don't. You don't have your license yet. How they convince you to agree to do this without having your license is they push promotions. You can get promoted, meaning you will increase your contract level. So by the time you have your license, you're at a higher contract level, so you're making more money when you make sales. So I do want to say this is a logical reason not to work with PHP. The contract levels they're talking about is 30%, 40%, 50%, 60%, as an MD 75%. If you create your own agency, nay, if you just go work in somebody else's agency, the contract level you're starting out with is 90%. Hello, it's already sounding like a scam. It's already sounding like a scam. They will say, oh, they're trying to trick you. That's not how compensation works. They'll try to do the math for you to show you how that doesn't matter, but it does matter. It does matter. They will never show you the real math, because when you look at the real math, PHP is scamming you out of your money. Okay, they're scamming you out of money that you would have earned had you just gone solo and call your own friends and family yourself. Or work with somebody with experience and call your own family yourself. Working with somebody with experience, anyway. That's just one logical reason to not join PHP, but that's not a good enough reason. You need to understand that nothing about this is just logic. Nothing about this is just numbers. It's hard for some people to hear, especially machismo men. You are not logical just because you have a peen. Nothing about this business model works without psychological play and emotional play. Decisions made in this model are made with emotion. They're made with emotion first, and you use logic later to justify the emotion. I'm saying this with some gravitas because this is something that is very hard for new PHP agents and Patrick Bet-David lovers to comprehend. They don't understand that the Game of Thrones isn't played with just logic. There's a lot of emotion there. There's a lot of loyalty to human beings, betrayal. There's a lot. It's not just a number game. Because if it was purely about numbers, nobody would be working at PHP. If it was truly about the logic of the numbers, nobody would be at PHP right now. Okay, so you also need to understand. So, you know how I said that a licensed agent will go with the trainee and sell to their friends and family? So, and then yeah, if you are a good student, you will pass, you will get your license, and you will make money from those appointments as well, okay? Not as much money as you could make, like I said, but whatever. So here is something that's used as a control tactic. So once you're an MD, or even before then, you could be a field associate, a director. Like, these are people who are below MD, but they're higher than a trainee. Like, once you have it shown that you can make a sale from start to finish, once you've shown that you can do that on a consistent basis, you will be used as a field trainer. You will be used to take out new people or people who suck at selling and go into their market and make sales. There is a method to who is chosen to do this. There's a method to it. There's a ranking to it. There's a general, the handbook has a general explanation of how it should work, but realistically, it's just based on how people feel about you. It's based on how people feel about you. It's based on my biggest pet peeve is when I would have a trainee, and so the other thing we do too is we pass people off to other people to train. Like, for example, let's say my friend, not my friend, let's say one of the MDs recruits somebody, their personal schedule is full, the people that they normally trust, their schedule is full, or maybe they think the person they recruited would vibe best with me. Like, oh, Udo's really good with this type of person. They'll give them to me. They're not, this is so hard to explain. They're not one of my babies. They're not one of my agents, but I'm treating them as if they are, because I'm going to get paid from doing their appointments with them. So the more success I have with people, the more the office will give me more people to work with, even though they're not my trainee, they're not my baby. If people don't like you, even if you're really good, you're less likely to get those opportunities. This is not something that's written in a handbook. This is not a company policy. This is not an office policy. This is not written anywhere. This is based on the culture of whatever office you're working with. Okay? So, this can be used as a punishment. For example, I worked in the office that had my board counsel, who I believe needs to be on medication. Maybe he's on medication now. Who knows? I hope so. He is diagnosed. Okay, I'm not being an armchair psychologist. He has a diagnosis. Anyway, so let's say you offend this board counsel somehow. You didn't edify him. We went to an event and you didn't edify him, and he felt embarrassed. He felt embarrassed amongst his peers because they were talking all this smack and you didn't defend him and you didn't edify him right. And, you were supposed to. So, as punishment, you're not getting any appointments. What do you mean? But I'm the best salesperson in your office. Uh-huh. And you didn't edify me when you were supposed to. How do you think that makes me look? What kind of example do you think that sets for our office? So now, if I let you take appointments, People will think it's okay to not edify. That's not duplicatable. Do you want me to duplicate that type of insubordination? Yeah, no. Because if I reward you with these appointments, guess what? Now the trainees on your team will edify you. Do you want that? Do you want to have a team full of trainees who won't edify you? Because you know that's really bad for your team. That's really bad for you. So really it's for your own good that I put you on a short probation period from getting appointments. And look, you're a licensed agent. Go get your own business. Go prospect somebody. Go to a Starbucks, shake hands, get numbers, make sales. That's what you're supposed to do anyway. You're not supposed to be relying on the office to give you appointments anyway. So it shouldn't be a problem, right? Okay. You get what I'm saying? Do you get what I'm saying? Do you get what I'm saying? Is it starting to click the levels of manipulation? Is it starting to click? Are you starting to understand why? Because I left a comment under this video, okay? It was a very innocent comment. Not offensive whatsoever. But of course, if you are talking about somebody's God in any kind of way, they'll be offended. And so some of these little guys in the comments are wanting me to type exactly what grievances one could have with the company. I can't type that scenario. How do I type that whole explanation, that whole, backstory that you need to understand to then explain that manipulation tactic to keep people in line? It's very out of a fucking movie. I don't know how else to say it. It's out of a movie. It's out of A Bug's Life or something. Okay, I don't know why A Bug's Life is the first movie that came to mind, but yeah. And if you're not brainwashed, if this culture hasn't been normalized to you, you would see it and be like, what the fuck? But when you're in this culture, you're like, yeah, I guess that's how it works. And you fall in line because you're running your business in PHP. You want it to work. Okay, so in this interview, this boy, it's like he was in PHP for like 5 minutes. This boy was in PHP for 5, and also no offense to this boy, because he actually he has a really good head on his shoulders. Like this kid is a solid kid. He's talking about, all that beginning process. He's talking about it in more detail than I am. So if you just really want to know how that works from an associate's perspective, you can, check out his interview. I'm telling you how it works from a marketing director's perspective. So this boy's talking about how his last straw, oh, fuck. Is this still recording? Okay. He's talking about how his last straw is, they wanted him to buy a ticket to go to a big event. So a big event is, it's a big event. Patrick Bet-David gets guest speakers and all this stuff. For me, it's a lot of fun. Like, you go to Vegas. I love booking a hotel with my friends and meeting all the people that I saw on the leaderboard, all the people I've been admiring and looking at on Instagram, and meet up with them, have fun with them, talk about our dreams and our goals late night, go to secret meetings that we qualified for, all this stuff, meet with the people that we idolize, get advice from them. When you hit MD, you will learn that all the advice they've been giving you, the advice that your idols have been giving you, is literal bullshit. It's bullshit. But when you are a new associate, you're like, oh my God, That's such a great idea. I'm gonna do it. But okay, but is it costs money. The big event is like, I don't know, 150, 200, $300, I don't know. And then the flights and it's a big expense. And you don't even have to be a PHP associate to go. Like sometimes you will try to get your family to go, like some friends, some family to come because they don't want to join. So you're like, you bring them to a big event. The big event, they say, anybody that you want to join PHP, bring them to the big event, they will join. And they usually do. I would say like 90% of the time, they join PHP after a big event. Why? Because, again, nothing is logical. Because of PHP, I will never again accept the statement that human beings are capable of pure logic. I mean, like, 1 + 1 = 2, okay, like that. But when it comes to making life decisions, I will never again believe that human beings make life decisions based only on logic. Never again. Never again. And if you have any degree of skill in sales, you know that's true. Okay? I learned that through sales, and then I saw it with my own eyes because of PHP. The big event, it's I'm not it's an event where everybody in the company goes. Patrick David's there. Patrick David he invited Kobe Bryant. I was there when he had Kobe Bryant on stage, and it was phenomenal. Like, look, like this is how how do you get somebody who's not in PHP to come to the big event? Kobe Bryant's going to be there. Shaq is going to be there. Magic Johnson's going to be there. George Bush is going to be there. Mike Tyson's going to be there. I think one of his most recent ones had Tucker Carlson, and I was like, I literally wouldn't even want to go to this as a marketing director. My team was so queer. My team was so queer. We had a lot of queer people in my team. And I wasn't in PHP when Patrick took his Republican grift into PHP the company. I don't know what I would have done with a team at that time, because I myself wouldn't want to go. And I'm just imagining the people, let's say half of my team was queer and the other half, they would go. And the other half, I can imagine, would not go. And I can see my board council would say, Udo, get your fucking team to go. It doesn't matter if they like the guests. It's not about the guests. It's about their business. And I would not be able to, in good conscience, tell my queer members of my team to go to a conference where they are going to openly disparage the LGBT community. I wouldn't be able to do it. I wouldn't be able to do it. And so then I wouldn't do it. I would go with the rest of my team that doesn't care or they're not queer. I would go with them. I would sit out, whenever they're talking to Vivek or whoever the fuck, whenever they're talking to that person, I would sit it out. Okay, I wouldn't be in there. My husband can tolerate that stuff. I'm sorry, I can't. That's infuriating. I wouldn't be there. I know my upline MD would notice that I'm not there. He would notice because I'm always there, because I'm a straight A student. I'm everywhere that you tell me I'm supposed to be. He would notice that I'm not there. He would say, Udo, what's wrong? Why weren't you there? I would have to have this talk with him. He would say, Udo, you're not setting a good example. It's not, they would give me the fucking lip service. The board council would see that not all of my team was there. He would know that I didn't talk to them, or okay, if I lie and say I did talk to them, he'll say like, oh, you didn't do good enough, and he would punish me. When we get back home, he would punish me. He wouldn't give me appointments. He won't give me recognition. I would make, if I made $10,000, he wouldn't say my name because he doesn't want to duplicate people behaving like Udo, where they're not attending sessions because of he's going to say my feelings when really it's my political beliefs, and I cannot stand to sit as if I am okaying, as if I am co-signing what is coming out of that person's mouth who doesn't have anything to do with PHP anyway. That's it for part 1. I need to gather my thoughts. Well, actually, let me complete this. That was the whole thing. That didn't happen. I'm just trying to explain to you what likely would have happened, based on what literally has happened. That I saw with my own eyes. That has happened to other people. What I'm describing happened to somebody else. So anyway, all I'm about to say, it's a big event. It's a big deal. It fills you. You're hearing stories from all these different people, all these different walks of life. You're hearing really big players. You're hearing people, I joined PHP and that month I made $20,000. You're hearing people say, I finally hit vice president. Like you're hearing people with their passion. Like they told me I couldn't do it and I did it. I bought my mom a house. That you're hearing all this passion. You're like, oh my God, you're hearing the cause. You're hearing from the carriers. The carriers saying, yeah, we've been here for 100 years. We've been saving families. Look what we've been doing. You're hearing all these amazing things. You want to be a part of it. You join PHP. And if you're already in PHP, you are now more committed than ever. And your goal is, I'm going to be on the big event stage next year. Okay, that's what the big event does. That's why it's such a big deal that they make everyone go to the big event. And this boy said, I'm not going to the big event. I barely had the money to join the company, and now you're telling me that I need to spend another money, and I just don't have it, and I think this is weird. This is like, enough with the shenanigans. This boy said, enough with the shenanigans. You told me I would be selling life insurance. I have yet to see a policy. I have yet to see a policy and how to sell it. So far, it sounds like you're trying to sell me. He said, I had enough. I'm done. I'm leaving. And Marco asked the boy, was it difficult to leave? He said it wasn't difficult. And it's because they've got everything they could squeeze out of me, they got. And it's true. Once we see that you are not, once we see you're not going to be a player, right? You can just tell, like some people, you're missing meetings, you're not, you can tell somebody's not going to be a player. Like, maybe like 5% of the time, somebody proves you wrong, okay? But anyway, once we see that somebody's not going to be a player, you just squeeze what you can out of them. You just call everybody that you can from their top 25 and more. I didn't do top 25, for the way. That's why people always wanted me to get their new people, because I made them do top 75s. We're not doing I don't want 20. And then if somebody was an overachiever, I'd be like, I don't know, could you do a top 100? I did a top 100. Let's see if you can beat me. You call everybody they know. You sell everybody. Even after that person quits, you're calling anybody who showed any iota of interest. You squeeze everything you can, and if that person doesn't want to continue, bye. Thanks for the 10 sales. Yo, anyway, that's not even the half. But I need to go to bed. So, if you want part 2, Let me know what questions that you have in the comments, please. And even if nobody has any questions, I think I'll make a part two. And I think my part two will be about the things that really disillusioned me to the company. Because my process of quitting kind of came in a couple of stages. And then I guess I can share like my personal story. Like a lot of what I've been saying to you are things I've seen and experienced, but I'm not telling you really my personal story. Um, I find that when you do start talking too personally, people who don't want to believe what you're saying will use that to attack you. Oh, well, you're just upset because so and so made you mad, you know? Well, that's just you, right? Like they want to discredit what you're saying as if your experience is a completely unique experience and nobody else in the company experiences that. And that's just not true. What I personally experienced, many other people experienced. Um, my process of quitting was number one, I hated my board counsel. I mean, as a human being, I loved him. Like, you know, I cared about him. But he just, there's no way you can be that abusive to people who work for you and you're not even making money. Like, you know, maybe you can accept some abuse from somebody who's earning $3 million. You're not going to take that abuse from somebody who's earning $200,000 and you're lying to people about it. um, Hate is a strong word. I didn't hate him. I was just, he wasn't going to change. He wasn't going to get the treatment that he needed. His peers were trying to help him. You know, Patrick Bet-David was trying to help him, and a lot of his behavior came from the fact that Patrick Bet-David treated him a certain way, and he thought if I put up with the crap that Patrick Bet-David is putting me through, I know I'm going to be his right-hand man. He promised whatever, I don't know what Patrick promised him. I don't know what he promised him. But one day, Patrick and my BC had a talk, and whatever that was, it ruined their relationship. And so everything he did since then has been to spite, out of spite. It's like you know, like when you ever read a book, you know those books, or I don't know, those movies where like somebody goes mad, they go crazy with trying to get revenge, or you know, restore their family name, or you know what I mean? Like it was like that. It was like that. And it's like your personal problems. Number one, you're taking it out on innocent people. You're taking it out on people who are trying to help you. Like literally, if he lost a contest, he would punish his people. And it's like, hello, it's your name on the contest. Like, you know, and a model we would always have is, you know, extreme leadership, extreme ownership. If you're the leader, you take ownership of what's going on with your team. Except for the board council, the person who's supposed to be making more money than all of us, the person who's supposed to be like our supreme boss directly under Patrick. You don't have to take extreme ownership, but we do. We have to take ownership for your misgivings, for the fact that you are suffering with a mental illness that you refuse to treat properly. Woo! Let me save that for part two. Let me say the part two too. And then I learned that he's not the only one like this. He's not the only one like this. Okay. But yeah, like that was my first thing. I'm I am in the hierarchy of somebody with issues. Like this is beyond he's mean, he's tough, he's not making that much money right now. This is beyond that because somebody tried to be like, oh my gosh, so you're a fair weather friend, like just because he's down on his luck right now. No, this is different. He's down on his luck because he did that to himself. It's not down on his luck because certain things happened that was beyond his control. He is treating people poorly, is causing them to work poorly. It's his maltreatment of his people is causing them to get less results, which is causing him to make less money. He's lying to us about his money. And everybody in the company who's his peer or above, Patrick Bet-David himself, they are trying to push him to be better, and he refuses their help. In fact, I'm not going to talk about when it got physical. I'm saving that for part two. I'm saving that for part two. So that was number one. The number two was, okay, let me handle my team the way I see fit. Only to learn that's not possible. One, you still work with your hierarchy. You still work in that hierarchy. You still have to follow the culture of that hierarchy. If you don't follow the culture of that hierarchy, not only will you be punished, but your people will be punished. So you are now keeping your people from achieving all that they could achieve because you don't want to play the game of your hierarchy. And that's not fair to them. And you can't get away from your hierarchy. You still have to do certain events with them. I guess you don't have to, but your business is gonna fail if you don't. You need the support of all of these other people and your hierarchy head. You need their support because you're using their resource. You're not using your resources. You don't have the money PHP has. You're using PHP resources, and whatever resources your board councils provide, you're using their resources. And at the end of the day, even if you are able to foot the bill to handle everything yourself, you don't have ultimate authority over your business, not even as a marketing director. You do not own your business. At the end of the day, your upline MD and your board council will be able to say, her team is mine. She can kick rocks, and I'll keep all the people in revenue under her. You don't own your business. They lie to you about that when you first sign up. They lie about that. They tell you own your business. You don't. Sure, you own your clients. You don't own your business. It's a difference. It's a difference that I will explain in part two. What else? What else? Oh, okay. So then I started looking to other hierarchies, and I learned that what I'm experiencing in my hierarchy is happening in the other hierarchies. Just in different ways, different words, different languages, in Espanol, whatever, different locations, different cultures. They're all lying. They're all playing games. They're all playing the Game of Thrones. It's a Game of Thrones. They're all playing chess. You are inconsequential. So, when I learned that, then I learned this is how Patrick Bet-David wants it to be. And he wants it to be this way because it works for him. His PHP agency is the fastest growing MLM insurance agency in this country. Why would he change it? Why would he change it? And then you start to realize the only solution is to leave the company. You could stay in the company and continue, like, I don't know, I personally, I can't do that. I can't keep working when I know something is against my principles. I can't do it. So I could stay and become a laughing stock because my productivity is going down, everything's going down, and people will make fun of me. If you are not if you're not good at the business, you're made fun of. Why would I want to stay in an environment? Why would I want to stay dedicated going every day to an environment where I am a laughing stock and I have no motivation to improve myself in this environment? Leave. And I told my people the truth and let them make their own decision. I think like one person said, and then they quit later. And I will never forget when my upline told me, Udo, there's a reason I don't talk to you about a lot of things. You talk too much. And I'm like, I don't talk too much. I tell the truth. And he said, Udo, you know there are some things you're not supposed to be talking about. And ultimately, that is why my whole team left, because all I can do is tell the truth. All I can do is tell the truth. Oh yeah, and then the board council got so mad at me because not only did my team leave, but some of his people left. And it's like, look, that's not my fault. That's not my fault. I did not lie. I did not disclose information. I did not disclose any private information. All I did was tell the truth. All I did was tell the truth. And believe it or not, people can hear the truth and decide to stay. People can hear the truth and still stay. It's not my fault that you lie to your people, you abuse your people, and sure, a few people learn the truth, they want to leave. That's not my fault. We'll go into part 2 later.